The setting was the opulent grandeur of a historic European palace. Gilded chandeliers painted golden patterns on the marble floors as the grand hall echoed with the footsteps of dignitaries from around the globe. The air hummed with an anticipation that bordered on the electric, and the world's eyes focused with relentless curiosity on this historic convergence of power and ambition. Inside the summit, three towering figures navigated the delicate dance of diplomacy. President Vladimir Putin of Russia entered with his characteristic stoic expression, his focused gaze betraying little of the strategic calculations playing in his mind. Known for his strategic mind, Putin harbored intentions of expanding Russia's geopolitical clout. Kim Jong-un entered shortly after, flanked by a retinue equally as intense in demeanor. The North Korean leader carried with him the weight of a regime seeking assurances for its survival, amid international isolation and sanctions enforced against his nation's ambitious nuclear pursuits. Completing the trio, former President Donald Trump made his entrance, his presence announced with an air of dramatic flair. Seated at the helm of the world's superpower, Trump was driven by aims that were simultaneously straightforward and complex, demonstrating American power while seeking tangible achievements to bolster his legacy. The doors to the negotiation room were closed, guarded by the invisible curtain of international intrigue and expectation. Inside, the genuine dialogue was about to commence, away from the prying eyes of the media frenzy outside. The room was quiet, except for the hushed voices of interpreters, the rustling of suits, and the scratching sounds of pens taking notes. Among the tension looming in the air, there rose the challenge of finding common ground without exposing vulnerabilities. Global power balances were at stake, nuclear weapon strategies up for discussion, and the need for cautious diplomacy was apparent. Putin, with a tone as cold as the Siberian winters, began by speaking of potential collaborations, energy deals, security alliances, and economic corridor that span continents. Kim, with a stutter masked by determination, made overtures towards peace, but with the underlying expectation of concessions they believed necessary for the stability of his rule. Trump, adept at reframing discourse with unpredictable whimsy, swung the conversation to focus on American priorities, fair trade policies, strategic military partnerships, and assurances of democracy's global primacy. Days of deliberation followed, each word dissected for meaning, alliances tested, and rivalries fueled. Bouts of animated discussion were interspersed with periods of terse silence as interpreters conveyed the weight of words. The outcome of these discussions held the possibility of reshaping international relations for generations to come. Outside, the anticipation was palpable as correspondents and political analysts postulated theories on the ramifications of the unseen dialogues within. From the sidelines, the world watched closely, aware that the corridors of power whispered with defining moments in history.